Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Yamaha, rev your heart.
We're here in beautiful Western New Brunswick, Bath, New Brunswick to be specific, for the Trevors Goodine Professional Lumberjack Competition. Every year on Labor Day weekend, this Lumberjack competition, along with the International Balloon Festival, are held on the shores of the St. John River. The Lumberjack competition has over 35 competitors competing for over $12,000 in prize money. We're heading into the women's underhand chop. In total, we're going to be showing you the top 3 heats. This first heat, Brittany McLean taking on Lavon Michelacci.
And they're off. First one to the wood, Brittany McLean. She's a student from the University of New Brunswick, doing a great job here, getting into the ladies' underhand chop. Chopping 10 inches of round aspen wood. Cameron Findlay also doing a good job here. As they get into the small wood on side number 1, they'll be putting what we call drivers in, or good hits far into the wood as far as they can get them before they turn to side number 2. Lavon Michelacci, though, making no mistakes here, getting around at side number 2 first as Brittany McLean starts getting into her second side as well. Caitlin Cumberland's around. They're all around now swinging on side number 2. Brittany McLean doing a great job here. She starts to drive things off. Lavon Michelacci also into the small wood, but it's Brittany McLean taking first in this heat. Cameron Findlay wailing away at side number 2.
Quickly becoming one of the favorites here in the underhand. Brittany, talk to me about that cut. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was a good cut. I slipped off the block. It's a little wet, but overall, followed my lines pretty well, so it was a good cut.
Definitely had a great turn there. You got to the backside and the axe just sunk. What were you thinking on the backside of that log?
Yeah, as soon as I saw the axe sink, I thought better start just going faster, and yeah.
Well, it was awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, a great start to the women's underhand chop there by Brittany McLean, setting a time to beat of 46.51. Once again with the wet wood here in the underhand chop, very slippery. This next heat, the second heat, Tess Billings taking on Alyssa Schroeder.
And it's a battle of Fredericton, New Brunswick, and Tess Billings and Alicia Schroeder. Both ladies getting well into their wood here on this poplar 11 inches. Axes are moving the wood nice. Both ladies with a good smooth cadence here in the underhand. Tess cleaning the bottom out and putting her drivers in, and she's around to side number 2. Alicia Schroeder right with her. What a race here in the ladies' underhand. Both girls swinging hard, following their lines, cleaning out this second side as they work their way into this wood and get it ready to drive things off. Both girls swinging strong, swinging hard, and swinging fast. Tess Billings now getting ready to drive things off. Alicia Schroeder getting ready to drive things off. Both girls trying to clean that bottom wood out. Need to break it at the top and then break it at the bottom. And they're wailing away. Tess Billings, Alicia Schroeder, who's it going to be? Both girls have blocks wobbling. Tess goes back for a chip driver, but there it is. Alicia Schroeder, one swing ahead of Tess Billings. What a race in the ladies' underhand.
What a cut, lady. Talk to me about that block. It looked awesome.
It was a really good block. Their center was pretty soft, and I was hitting my line, so it really worked out good for me.
I know you had a lot of flow going through that. Is that something you've been training?
I have. I've been working on my pattern and keeping a steady pace, and it really helps when the axe isn't sticking to keep that up, so it was good.
Well, a good effort there by Alicia Schroeder with a time of 1:02.51. Not sure if it's going to be good enough to make the leaderboard of the women's underhand cutters here in this field. This next heat, we have Caitlin Reed, formerly Caitlin Carroll, taking on Kendall Cornelius.
Both ladies striking the block at exactly the same time. Kendall Cornelius to your left. Caitlin Reed to your right. Doing a great job here, swinging hard and not so fast, but they're hitting with all the strength they can muster, and it's Kendall Cornelius making her change to side number 2. Caitlin Carroll doing a great job here. She's around to side number 2, but it's Kendall Cornelius way out front here in this heat. pulling things in, doing a great job swinging that axe with all the strength she can muster as she gets into the small wood. And she's looking to try to drive things off Kendall Cornelius. Caitlin Carroll getting into the small wood on her second side, but it's Kendall Cornelius taking things in this heat. Mary Reeder not too far behind. Looks like Caitlin Carroll has a really tough block.
Kendall, 9-hour trip yesterday after winning the underhand chop at the New England Cup. Talk to me about this cut because that was spectacular.
A little bit smaller block today, 10 times harder. Really, really firm block, different than the pine we cut yesterday. I just had to stand up and hit it, and that was my plan. I executed that plan.
Well, you went back to the basics this year. You can tell you've coming back with really good technique, really good form, and you're finding pace as the year goes on. What's next for you in the underhand?
Continuing that pace, continuing to hit harder, cleaning up my technique here and there. I've been watching a lot of Martha and Nancy and combining those two techniques. I'm right in the middle of them, and that's my plan, is just to keep going back with those hard hits and then find that pace as I keep continuing to chop.
That was spectacular. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, a talented field of competitors here in Bath, New Brunswick in the women's underhand chop. The top 4 competitors separated by less than 4 seconds, with Kendall Cornelius winning it. Back here in beautiful Western New Brunswick at the Bath Fall Fair, a Labor Day festival that hosts the Trevors Goodine Lumberjack competition and a beautiful international balloon festival. The Fall Fair also hosts a wonderful car show with a lot of antique cars. I see a couple of hearses there as part of the exhibition as well. We are now halfway through the Trevors Goodine Lumberjack competition, and we are heading into the women's stock saw. We're going to be showing you the top 6 heats. The rules in the stock saw: they have 4 inches of wood to make 2 discs with these equally tuned Echo CS600 saws. This first heat is going to be featuring Cameron Finley taking on Tess Billings, a couple of New Brunswick girls.
Both ladies lightning fast to the wood. And we've got a picture-perfect cut here by both ladies. Cameron Finley dragging a little bit behind now as Tess Billings into the small wood on her upcut, and she's off already on bench number 1. Tess Billings. Cameron Finley not far behind.
What a cut. You really dialed in the power band to that Echo saw. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, I just kind of went for it on that one. I had 2 real thin cookies, and it worked out for me. Thin to win.
Thin to win, as they say. Were you a little nervous on the upcut?
A little bit. I kind of was looking over to the side thinking, did I cut out? But I was a little slow to wood, but my transition was good, so I was happy. It was good. Good cut.
Excellent cut. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, a good time to beat set there by Tess Billings with 11.49. Some of the keys in the stocks are getting to the wood as quick as possible, and those transitions are critically important. This next heat, Lavon Michelacci taking on Brittany McLean.
Both ladies off and hit the wood at exactly the same time. Lavon Michelacci also runs a hot saw, so she's no stranger at all to these saws. But it's Brittany McLean here making quick work of that cut. Looks like a pretty soft log here on bunk number 1.
Brittany on a tear today. Talk to me about that cut. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was a really good cut. I was just working on quick transitions. Everyone has the same saw, so that's where I tried to make up some time.
Now, did you have that ear-eye hand coordination going in that? What were you listening to with this Echo saw?
Yeah, I was trying to listen for the RPMs to make sure they're as high as possible, and I didn't want to bog out to keep the saw running fast.
Well, as we head into heat number 3, it's going to feature Brenda Stevens and Elisa Schroeder. Brittany McLean has lowered the time to beat down to 11.05 with 2 cuts of the CS600 Echo chainsaws in 4 inches. It's a lot more difficult than it actually appears.
And they're off. Alicia Schroeder making a quick cut here down on the first bunk number 3, and Brenda Stevens trying to stay right with her. Brenda's cut down just a little bit behind her, but Alicia Schroeder doing a great job here on her upcut, and it's going to be Alicia Schroeder taking this heat as Brenda Stevens finishes off her cut on bench number 4.
Well, clearly, Elisa Schroeder had a little bit of difficulty here with the first cut, and I said just earlier that it's not that easy to make 2 cuts within 4 inches. You can see she goes very, very thin in this first cut, and at the very bottom of the cut here, incomplete disc, and she knows it. Actually, she may not know it right now, but she's going to know it a little bit later. The second cut is no problem, but she's going to pull up the cut here thinking she ends the time. She's going to glance over and see the incomplete cut and go for a third cut to give her a time of 21.36. This next heat is going to be Sue Woodland taking on Megan Woods, and still a time to beat is 11.05 set by Brittany McLean in that second heat.
And they're off. Sue Woodland, first one to the wood. Megan Wood doing a good job here. Looks like Megan Wood making a good comeback. She's the first one of the cookie on the ground and already into cut number 2. Sue Woodland has to play a little bit of catch-up, but it's Megan Wood making quick work of that saw. Sue Woodland, all kinds of trouble here on bench number 2.
What a cut, lady. Talk to me about that.
I felt much better about it than I did the one that I did on Saturday, that's for sure. I just did my best, tried to ride out as much pressure as I could.
Well, I know earlier in the weekend, too, you had the ear, eye, and leg protection. You had everything but the eyes. This time you made sure. You went through the roll there. I was laughing the whole time.
Yep, I did the whole legs, ears, eyes, got everything. Made sure.
Absolutely. Congratulations on the cut.
Thanks very much.
Another excellent job there by Megan Woods with a time of 12.49, but still way back in the second heat. Brittany McLean with 11.05 is leading the way. This next heat, the 5th heat, Jessie Swinimer taking on Caitlin Reed, formerly Caitlin Carroll.
And they're off. Next heat, ladies stock saw. Caitlin Reed very quick to the wood here, but look at Jess Swinimer making quick work. It's an all photo finish. She hit her chain break, slowed down Jess Swinimer was a good cut. Caitlin Reed gets it done here on bench number 1, and wow, what a comeback over there by Jess Swinimer. Almost caught her on that second cut.
What a cut. Talk to me about that.
Stock saw is not my favorite event, and today I'm happy that I got 2 cuts. I think I probably could have done a little bit better with my time, but it's a pretty good day so far.
Very good day so far. I mean, Scotty being so proficient with all this saws, that hasn't translated over yet?
Not for stock saw. I don't know what I do, but none of those saws seem to like me very much.
Well, congratulations on the cut.
Thank you.
Well, I'm starting to sound like a broken record. Brittany McLean's time of 11.05 way back in the second heat is still the time to beat. This is now going to be our last heat. We got Kendall Cornelius taking on Mary Reeder in the stock saw. Once again, 11.05 is the time to beat. We have 2 excellent sawyers on their marks.
Mary Reeder, first one to the wood. Kendall Cornelius making no problem getting through this first cut, but it's Mary Reeder pulling ahead right now, and her saw's cutting this wood really fast, and it's going to be Mary Reeder, first one down in the ladies' stock saw. Was it fast enough to beat the 11.05 of Brittany McLean? We're going to find out.
Double pumped the bottom there on the transition. What was going through your mind there?
Oh, I don't know. It's smaller wood than I'm accustomed to running stock chainsaws in, and I don't know, got a little squirrely on me, so I got it though, you know.
Well, it got a little squirrely on her, but she still came in with a 12.02. Mary Reeder did at 3rd place. Brittany McLean held out for 11.05, winning the stock saw.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Dickies. Quality workwear since 1922.
Held on the shores of the St. John River every Labor Day weekend is the Bath Fall Fair in conjunction with the International Balloon Festival. We are here in Western New Brunswick for the Trevors Goodine Lumberjack competition. We have over 35 competitors competing for over $12,000 in prize money in this beautiful part of New Brunswick. Just before the show got started, we had a chance to talk to one of the competition's namesakes, Drew Trevors.
I've been in the woods all my life.
Yep.
I went to the woods before I went to school with Father on the horse and sled. At UNB, I was captain of the team for 3 years, and in 1965 was our 3rd trip in my time to McDonald College, and we won the competition. And I needed a partner, and so I asked Francis Goodine from Plaster Rock, and he never batted an eye and said sure. And we were together for over 20 years. We did okay, did good, and that fall I organized, with the Lions Club in Plaster Rock, I organized the provincial competition, and was held on Saturday after Labor Day. And that first competition, I forget who won the overall, but I remember Francis won the bucksaw, and I won the chopping. To have a competition named after Frank and I is probably what most lumberjacks would like to want in their lifetime.
And many thanks to Joe Trevors and his partner Francis Goodine for being legends in the sport of lumberjacking and having a competition named for them here in the province of New Brunswick. We're getting into the men's underhand chop, and we're showing the top 4 heats. This first heat, Billy Cornelius taking on Mike Esch.
And they're off. Mike Esch wailing away with his block. Billy Cornelius, with a really fast pace here as they get rid of that first chip on this first side of their log. Mike Esch already put his drivers in. He's around to side number 2. Billy Cornelius right with him, though. Both guys swinging hard and fast as they get into the smaller wood, keeping their pace up. Mike Esch getting ready to drive things off. Billy Cornelius getting ready to drive it off. Who's it going to be? Mike Esch, first guy down, and Billy Cornelius a few more swings, and his block is going to be severed as well.
Beautiful cut, man. Talk to me about that block.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Both sides lifted a big slab on each side. I don't always like to hit into those, but it's what you got to do. It was okay cut. I mean, a lot of guys here will go faster than that.
I don't know, man. That axe seemed to really like it, and it's been a tale of two cities on a lot of these blocks today. Talking about the axe there, that was a nice one.
Yeah, that was a good axe that Rob Spry actually ground up. Cut that wood real nice, real free in the wood. It's nice when the wood moves off the axe real nice.
Excellent job there by master axe grinder Mike Esch from Pennsylvania with 27.52 in the first heat of the underhand chop. This next heat, a couple of Nova Scotia boys. Rookie national champion Connor Morse taking on veteran competitors Scott Reed in the underhand.
Graham Green and Mario Bork, first guys into the wood. Mario doing a good job here, wailing away on that block. Connor Morse keeping good pace here with Mario Bork, but Mario's putting his drivers in already, and he's going to be over to side number 2. First guy to switch, and Scotty Reed right with him on the end. Doing a great job here in the underhand chop, swinging with a feverish pace. Connor Morse sticking right with him. It's going to be a good race here to the end. Graham Green's made his turn from Greenfield, New Brunswick, but they're getting into driving it right now. Scotty Reed's driving, Mario Bork's driving. Connor Morse takes one more chip, and now he's driving. All 3 guys trying to get this block severed in half. They're holding on tight at the bottom. But it's Graham Green coming from behind and takes all 3 of them down in that heat. Scotty Reed, number 2.
Well, we're only halfway through the underhand chop with 4 excellent choppers still to come. Right now, it's Mike Esch on top with a 27.52. We're back here on the shores of the St. John River in Bath, New Brunswick for the Trevors Goodine Lumberjack competition. We are halfway through the underhand chop. Right now the time to beat is Mike Esch's time from Pennsylvania with a 27.52. This next heat we got a couple of bends. Nicely in Cumberland taking on Berlin Nickerson.
Berlin Nickerson, first guy to the wood on this underhand chop. Swinging a mean axe here, but Ben Cumberland also getting into the small wood now, putting drivers in. Berlin and Ben turn together. Kyle and Ben nicely right behind them. Great race here in this heat of the underhand chop as the guys reach down and get deep. See who's done the work on the front side here as they start to drive things off. Both guys starting to drive now. Ben nicely getting right in there with them. Same as the last few heats, having a hard time, and it's going to be Ben nicely. First one done. Berlin Nickerson and Ben Cumberland, and Kyle Whitmore right with them.
Talk to me about that block.
Yeah, I had a little difficulty in my axe choices today. I was going between a super grind, a banana grind. I figured the banana grind would be a little bit more free after the first few heats that I watched. Ended up being a wrong choice, but it cut the wood great and pretty happy overall.
I know you had to look back at the block, and you kind of took a second or two, which may have cost you a bit, but you went back and did the right deed. Talk to me about that.
Yep, when I came off, I noticed there was a little hanger. I didn't know if it was attached or not. Kind of went back and forth in my head a little bit, and I was like, I better get it. We better be safe than sorry.
Smart cut, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, a good job there by a couple of Bens and Berlin Nickerson in that heat, but Ben Nicely's time was 28.06. Still the time to beat Mike Esch way back in the first heat with a 27.52. This last heat of the underhand chop, Nathan Cumberland taking on Matt Koger, a couple of national champions.
Matt Koger, first guy to hit the block, but the pace of Nathan Cumberland is pretty feverish right now. As they start getting into the small wood, Matt Koger puts his drivers in, and Matt Koger over to side number 2. All these guys not reaching that bottom wood quite fast enough. A little bit more work done on the front side on Nathan Cumberland's block, but it's Matthew Koger taking this down, dropping the time to beat as Nate Cumberland drives it off for position number 2.
feverish pace there. Talk to me about that cut.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to compete against this weather, really. So I just knew I had to put up a pretty decent time, you know, like everybody else is cutting really well. And I knew I had a good block. Probably a few hits out of place, but yeah, that's the way things go sometimes. You got to deal with what you got, and sometimes the weather messes with you just a little bit, but the axe was suiting it really well, and yeah, put up a good time, and hopefully that stands up.
Well, and I'm telling you what, man, you put some slope to that log. You knew this aspen's been kind of firm all weekend. Was that the game plan the whole time?
Yeah, I think so. Typically, your softer woods will cut better with a bit of slope, and that yeah, it just helps the axe penetrate farther, especially when it comes to a bit firmer soft woods, and that'll let you get ahead a little bit. So.
Well, in the battle of the national champions, Matthew Koger from Diana, West Virginia, comes out on top with a 19-15 in the underhand chop. And our crown pivotal point here this week at the Trevors Goodine Lumberjack competition goes to Connor Morris, a guy that is still honing his skills. One day hopes to be at the top of the podium in the underhand chop. And our Lumberjack of the day is Ben Nicely, making a real wise decision to get back on that log to cut those last few fibers of the underhand chop. And many thanks to all the volunteers and sponsors who get involved with the Bath Fall Fair, both the International Lumberjack Competition as well as the Balloon Festival.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Yamaha, rev your heart.
And it's Trevor Schofield, first guy to hit the block in this heat. Look at the pace of Jeff Larkin, though, making no time here at all to get into the small wood on the front part of his block, and he's putting his drivers in. Jeff Larkin, #1 around already in this heat. Trevor Schofield right with them. What a race in this heat. 27 seconds what they're trying to take down. Trevor having a hard time getting that chip out. His second side is tougher than the other guys. Looks like Jeff Larkin has a nice block as he makes his chips, and he's going to go start driving things off here for Jeff Larkin. Trevor Schofield not far behind, but it's going to be Nick Graham out of the gates here. Jeff Larkin not far behind him in this heat.